Alpha 4 Charlie India Delta, Kilo Alpha 4 Charlie India Delta, KA4CID. We are near Savannah, Georgia, and my name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo.
Beautiful signal, Mark. It looks to be about 12 dB over my local noise level. Roger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. This is the YAESU. We spoke before a few weeks ago, and I've done some work to this YAESU FT-450 since we last talked, and we've probably got more that we can do than we can handle today, but I'm using an RE20 microphone, and Jim, I have picked up a Symmetrix 528E voice processor. So I'm feeding the RE20 into the voice processor, and then I'm feeding a mic level signal out of the back of the voice processor into the front of the YAESU FT-450. And you're probably familiar from your broadcast days with that voice processor, but they got about 16 knobs on it. But it certainly gives you a lot to work with, and maybe sometimes when we've got a little bit more time, we'll really fine-tune it. But I would like to know that just the way I have it set up right now is not causing any real problem.
No, it sounds pretty good. I would crank in about 3 dB more top-end EQ, about 3 clicks more top-end EQ. Roger?
Okay, on this one, let's see, the high EQ is 6.8 kilohertz, so let's boost it up here. It's actually right at 0 right now, so the pot is straight up and down at 12 o'clock. So, okay, we've turned it over to the 3 o'clock position right now on the high-end EQ. Hello, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, now consult your ALC. I think you might be just a tad warm going into your ALC. So with mic gain in hand, go to your ALC meter and just speak normally, naturally, not like you're setting a level or anything, just a normal speech level, and adjust the mic gain to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, we'll do that. I think maybe we need to add a little bit more gain. Hello, test 1, 2, 3. Hello. I'm not sure that's going to work or not. Jim, I listened to you yesterday, and it was sort of a trip back through time. I used to work at WMPI in Scottsburg, just up the road from you. And, of course, we all listened to WHAS. I was there in 1974, the summer of 74. I believe you were probably on the air there, too. But it was just nice to hear you talk about HAS. And I was just a teenager whenever I was working at MPI. Looks like the ALC is not doing all that you want it to do, and I'm not sure I can get it to that position here with this FT-450. It's bar graph, horizontal from left to right, so it's only going about fourth of the way across. So I'm working on that with a dummy load and try to get a little bit more ALC action.
All right, you say you're not even able to get to a mid-scale on it?
That's correct, not even able to get to the mid-scale.
Okay, it could be that you're pushing your outboard stuff a little bit. I would open up if you have an end output control, I would open, first off, what is your input mic gain control setting at the moment?
Well, on the FT-450, you only have 3 settings. You have a low, medium, and high, a low, normal, and high. And I got to remember, one of them turns the compressor off. But because I'm feeding a mic level signal from this voice processor into the FT-450, I had to run the mic gain on low on the FT-450. So part of what I need to do probably is to feed a line level signal into the back of the radio, and then I can adjust the mic levels, on the radio. The reason I have to have it at low, it would just be overdriving it otherwise.
Roger. Well, that's the thing you have to be careful of when you run outboard equipment into a mic input control. Normally you would have, say, a mic gain control, and you would want to set that mic gain control on the internal gain to, say, 4 or 5 mid-scale, so then you could put in your line stuff and pat it down to where you know that you're not exceeding the speed limit on the mic input gain. In other words, get your internal mic gain control, set it at a 4 or 5, and then bring your outboard stuff up to the right level, and that way you know you're not overdriving your mic input on your radio. I'm hearing some distortion, and if you're not even reaching mid-scale on your ALC, it indicates that that distortion is occurring somewhere in the front end, and so you're either overdriving your mic input level, or you're overdriving the outboard processor somewhere. Roger?
Yeah, I understand, and I think the issue is that I'm overdriving the mic input level. Normally I would not want to feed, a voice processor into a mic level signal of a radio. It's just at the time, that's the best I could do to get it on the air. So maybe between now and the time we talk again, we'll get it wired into the back of the radio, and then I think we can straighten it out.
Standby contact. Yeah, but you don't even have to run it in the back of the radio. The thing to do is I have what's called a double bridge input-output circuit. I bridge out of, if I'm running a high levels thing and I want to put it into mic level, I bridge out at 10K, and I bridge in with another 10K into where I'm going, and then I put a load resistor in the middle where the two 10Ks come together. So whatever I do, in that between those two resistors, I'm not affecting the load coming out or the load going into the transmitter. So you would probably wind up with something in low value like 200 ohms, but whatever it takes to arrive at the proper level for the mic input to work in its normal situation. But like I say, you're not loading the stuff coming, the outboard stuff, and you're not severely loading the input level. What happens is a lot of people get down in there to 600 ohms or something, and what happens when you do that is that you leave yourself open for ground loops and all kinds of stuff. It's much easier just to bridge in, and then, like I say, between those two resistors, there's two 10Ks, is how you determine the volume, and you just load the volume with the right resistor to get the volume where you need it. Roger?
Roger, I understand. I think what I might do, and I think maybe you're describing the same thing, I'm holding in my hand a Shure switchable attenuator, a mic attenuator, an XLR, male and female on each end. You've probably seen them about the size of a 20-gauge shotgun shell. And I think that might be kind of what you're describing. If it is, then I might put this in there. I mostly operate AM, and that was sort of the reason for wanting to have this outboard voice processor to really tweak, the EQ when I'm on the air with AM. So I know there's some other people waiting, and Jim, I'd love to talk radio with you. And we had some fond memories of being up in southern Indiana and listening to WHAS. I still hear them down here a lot of times, so I listen to AM a lot. And one of the engineers up there at one of the UHF TV stations was Harry Fawbush. I don't know if that name rings a bell or not. That would have been the mid-'70s. But I was at the little 3,000-watt FM station up the road in Scottsburg, and you could really just barely hear us down in Louisville. But I surely do appreciate your help, and I'll listen to your broadcast or to the recording whenever you get it up in a few days.